everybody, welcome to Cake Flicks TV, and a big shout out and thank you to Paul and David for inviting me on. I'm Chris from Grace and Clover in Wiltshire here in the UK, and I'm a cake artist and teacher specialising in buttercream flowers. So today I'm going to show you how to make this. So this is just using a 2:1 ratio of butter to icing sugar. So I've done a little video and a little clip on how I make the buttercream, just to save some time really, because we don't want to waste too much time on making buttercream. So wherever you are in the world, welcome to my kitchen, and I hope you enjoy. So I'll turn the camera down and get going. So that was a quick whiz through the buttercream. I like to use just a simple, straightforward 2:1 ratio, but it's entirely up to you if you want to use Swiss or Italian meringue. I just like the crusting over. I don't really like the glossy look of that on the flowers. So you just need to make sure really you've got a stiff peak consistency and the buttercream is reasonably cool. I use a nice white like Lurpak. And then you get a much better colour. So this is just on a little 5-inch dummy, so we'll be working today on I think that's a 6-inch, but either one, unless you want to work straight on a cake, of course. If you use a 250 gram to 500 gram icing sugar, that's plenty to do the top and the flowers, and you'll have plenty left over. So what you'll need is your nozzles, obviously, and I've tried to make a design that we can use as few nozzles as possible, just to keep things simple. So for the flowers, I've just used the Wilton 101 and the 103. That's these two here, the little petal nozzles, and a large open one. I think that's a 1A. I think that's described as this bigger one here for the blossoms and the roses. For the leaves, again, we can use a 103, we can use the 352, but I'll also show you a way of just cutting the bag so you don't need the 352, and a couple of small just number ones. Colour-wise, we've just used here leaf green, lemon yellow and claret, and then we've just mixed in white, obviously, to take the tones down for these variegated. Toothpicks, little squares of greaseproof, and the bags and the couplers, which are detachable, of course, and you can switch the nozzles around. A nail, and either a dummy or just some oasis to put the nail into. So that's about it. That's all you're going to need, I think, so we can get on and make some colours. So the base and the leaves on this cake are a real lime green, which I don't have, but I can make it using leaf and lemon yellow. So I'll show you how. I'm going to put this back in the freezer because it's about 30 degrees in here at the moment and it's not happy. So I'll just put it away for now. So you see it's quite stiff consistency at the moment, which is good, but we do need to just paddle those air bubbles out. Can't mess with it too much in this heat, I'm afraid. So the Wilton leaf green is quite a bluey green really, which isn't what I want, but it's very easy to change the colour. And I'm mixing all of these for you as well on a white surface, and you can really see the colours properly. See what a bluey green that is? It's not going to work so well with the pink. It's a good idea, I think, to to get your colours organised first and really think about what you want to do and what sort of thing you want to achieve. And even if you just use a small, you know, little palette like this and just play around with some colours, just take small amounts and mix small amounts of colour in. There we go. It's better, it's a bit brighter. It's quite pretty green, that. So that'll be good for the base and some of the leaves, and we'll also darken that slightly as well and do some paler ones for the variegated edges on the leaves. And again, we'll just take a little bit more and darken it. There we go, so we've got 3 shades there. I'm ready to get that on the base. So we'll put that now in the freezer, and then we'll mix some pink, and then we'll put some pink on the on one side of it. So on to the rest of the colours. So let's make 3 shades of pink using claret. So again, paddling the air bubbles out. And because I've used a really white butter, I shouldn't need to use any whitener, because I want a really vibrant, ice creamy sort of strawberry ice cream pink. I don't want a baby pink, it wouldn't work so well with the lime. And again, I need a little bit darker for the centre of the blossoms. I don't need very much, it's only a fraction. And lighter for the edge of the roses, the outer petals. Yeah, we've got 3 different shades. So we'll go to a quick ad break now, and when we come back we'll carry on making some leaves and flowers.
Hi and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Jeanette from Jeanette Reverse and Cake Craft, and today we're going to make this beautiful vintage perfume bottle. So you'll be learning lots of things about carving a cake into shape, covering an awkward shape with sugar paste. I'll show you how to do all the beautiful decoration, how to make a little ball on the top. Loads to learn, so let's get started.
So welcome back. So let's get some colour on the top now. You can see on the original one, this little 5-inch one, you might not be able to tell, but there's 2 colours on the top. There's the pink and then there's the green underneath. As we're doing it on a slightly larger dummy, then it'll be a bit more obvious. So let's get that pink on. So we've got our colour palette ready, so we can go on and make some leaves now. I normally pipe leaves with the bag and nozzle straight onto a nail using greaseproof, and then I put them in the freezer, and then I can use them later from frozen. It's far easier to put them straight onto the cake. So these are some I made earlier, so I just put them in plastic boxes with a lid on, and then they keep nicely in the freezer. So the first one I'll show you, which I guess is the most traditional and the easiest way to make leaves is with the Wilton 352, which is the nozzle that looks like the little V shape. So this has come from the fridge again, so it's reasonably stiff consistency, which you need. If it's too soft, you don't get a defined shape. I'll just put a little bit in there just to show you this nozzle. I use this one mainly as a filler. Afterwards, I don't use a great deal of it really. If I just show you on a white card, it's just all about pressure really, and consistency and the temperature. So you're working not on the side but down. Make sure you can see. So you're making contact, putting a reasonable amount of pressure on, and just releasing, coming away. So it's a reasonable leaf, but it's more of a representation of a leaf really. To me, it's not terribly realistic, so I don't use it greatly on a cake. I don't use huge amounts. They just fill in really in between the blossoms. So that's that one. And then I will change the nozzle. So I change that to a Wilton 103 again, which is traditionally it's a petal nozzle. Let's get a bit more in the bag. So a tiny little bit of icing on the nail, and making sure the paper is firmly down. So just press it down. If that starts sliding around, then you're in trouble. So another really easy one, again, now with these nozzles, the fatter part is the base or the inner section. So you're working that way down. And really it's just a little wavy motion. Turn it round, finish off at the back. There we go. And that's really simple and straightforward. You get the defined shape because the temperature and the pressure's right in the bag. As I say, if it's too soft, if it's too warm, then you won't get this shape. So I'll do another one. And these then can go straight into the freezer. There we go. So I'll show you another one that I did by adjusting one of the nozzles. So I had from a set, it's donkey's years old. I think it's probably a 104, so slightly bigger. Just pinch together the ends. So I've just literally squeezed it in with a pair of pliers. And this just gives me a much finer, thinner leaf, so it's a bit more realistic. So again, making good contact with the crease proof. Just turning it as you go. There we are. And it's a much thinner, finer leaf. So of course we can make a variegated version of this as well, and with a slightly paler edge. So I'll just show you how to do that as well. So for the lighter edge on the variegated one, I'm just going to mix in a little bit of white buttercream into the green. I have to keep stopping and editing this because it's so warm. You know, I used to live in Australia. I was there for a couple of years on the Gold Coast, and it was so hot, and I can remember now why I didn't do much cake decorating. I'm from the northeast originally, and I think I'm a cold weather girl for sure. So that is enough of a difference between the two colours there for the variegated leaf. We'll use these two. So on the very edge, which is going to be, remember you've got an inner and an outer edge to the leaf. So my outer edge will be along this seam. So we need just a really fine line, just making sure you can see. Of lighter green. That should do it. And then on the other side, you want the darker. And you can do a little test piece just to see how that's coming through. It'll take a little while to actually come through. There, I don't know if you can see that. We've just got a fine, lighter edge there. There we go. It just gives it a little bit more dimension, makes it a little bit more lifelike and a bit more interesting. So I did say I'd show you a way of making leaves without a nozzle, just in case you're starting and you don't really want to buy much kit. I mean, if you had a 103 petal nozzle and just a few bags and your buttercream, you can make a start. So you're really only just cutting the edge of the bag, and you don't have to buy, you know, these big rolls of 100. You can, I think the supermarkets sell them in little boxes of 10 if you just want to have a go. So the leaf nozzle is just this little V shape. So if you just cut into a bag, just replicate the shape, and then you'll get really pretty much the same effect. Trim that little edge off. Good place to start if you want to just start practicing. This will give you that basic leaf. So again, you're piping not on the side but down. Plenty of pressure on. You can always just pinch the ends to make the point. There we go. So it's not a bad little leaf without even having a nozzle. So I carried on making a few more, so we've got enough for the top. So we'll go to another quick break, and when we come back we'll start making some flowers. So welcome back. So first of all, we're going to make some of these little pink blossoms. So I need to just darken this colour very slightly because I want the back part to really show through. So I've had this in the fridge again. Don't need a huge amount of it. So the small little pink blossoms are made using the large open one with the dark first. Securely down again. And you're just making a little dome initially. Again, plenty of pressure. And you're just leaving a bit of a gap there in the middle. That's done. And that's the number one. And this just puts the detail on. Little stamens. But you can just see the darker pink underneath, just makes it a bit more realistic. There we go. There we go. Colour difference probably shows up more on the white. So now we can get on to make the roses, and this is the colour. These are the two colours that we use to make the blossoms. You see there. So same principle again. For this smaller one, we're only going to make a very small cone. So you're literally just covering up that very center point, and then you can start wrapping the petals around. So I want a few small ones, so I'll leave that one that size. And these would then go straight into the freezer really, but I'll make a few. Some people use this method, but they go front to back, and you really got to just do whatever's comfortable for you. You kind of find your way with it. There we go, again, just a very tiny little bud. So we'll get these in the freezer and I'll make a few more. So I'll show you that one again, see if we can get a bit closer. Go to an ad break, and then when we come back we'll put it all together. So welcome back. So now the real fun begins, and we'll start putting the flowers on. First of all, I'm going to pipe a border all the way around here, just in green is fine, just to give it a little bit of height and another dimension. So this is the green just left over from the leaves and the top. Again, we're going to use the open nozzle. And then I'll grab the flowers from the freezer. So I'm just going to lay these on some ice blocks just while we're working. I don't want these to start defrosting because they need to be hard when we take them off the greaseproof. So I'll change the nozzle over to the 352, the leaf nozzle. That little one there. Bit more icing in the bag. Then we can start positioning the leaves first. There we go, and then we can start piping some leaves with the 352. It's just been sitting in the fridge just for a few minutes, just to harden up a little bit. And then these little fillers just neaten off all the back and the underneath, and helps to keep everything in place. It just gives it another dimension. And you can always just tidy up anything that's just slightly come adrift. So if you come in from all different angles, just brings it all to life, really. Doesn't matter if you're going on top. Just gives it a much fuller effect. It's quite nice to see them all slightly overlapping, I think. And there we go. So there we go, all finished. So I hope you've all picked up a few tips. I think it's a great technique, especially for small wedding cakes, really, and it looks like that's all everybody's going to be doing for some time yet. So any questions, give me a shout out on social media, and hopefully we can all get back to face-to-face learning soon. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed and learned something. If anybody has any questions, just give me a shout out on Facebook or Instagram and I'll try and help. And in the meantime, everybody take care, and hopefully we'll get back to classes and workshops soon as we can. Take care. Bye.